You're listening to Glove Up or Shut Up on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
You're listening to Glove Up or Shut Up on AngryMarks.com with Peter H. and Stevie J. Find them on Twitter at HardcoreCDN and at AngryMarks. And now, for all the news, reviews, and interviews in mixed martial arts, it's time for Glove Up or Shut Up from AngryMarks.com.
And welcome everybody to another episode of Glove Up or Shut Up right here on AngryMarks.com. My name is Peter H. I'm joined once again by my co-host from Omaha, Nebraska, Stevie J.
Good evening, Peter, and welcome to a very busy week in the world of mixed martial arts as we've got Bellator 199 and UFC 224 running head-to-head on Saturday night.
Well, we've got both those shows to talk about, but we'd be remiss if we didn't start the show this week with the news. And, it's kind of a light news on my sheet here, but we should talk Ryzen FF10.
Yeah, our friend Ian McCall did not have a good night. I'm sorry, Uncle Creepy. We're so sorry.
9 seconds he got knocked out by Koji Horiguchi, and afterwards McCall even said, maybe the sport has passed me by.
I really hate to hear that, because he's such an awesome guy, but, things have not been going his way ever since UFC, so it may be that he peaked at that point in his career when we talked to him, and then after that, it was just, like you said, maybe the sport's passing him by now.
That's a shame, but Horiguchi's playing with added focus, to the knockout in 9 seconds, and
well, it's what I told you when we talked about it on chat. I said, he's proving a point that UFC shouldn't have cut him.
Yeah, well, keep doing what you're doing. Show them they made a huge mistake, and they're going to have to bring him back.
Yeah.
Now, that wasn't the only epic knockout. Darren Cruikshank, vicious knockout in his victory, and afterwards he unfortunately flipped off his opponent. And regretted it afterwards, but I guess he get into that moment, the adrenaline dump, and it was a hell of a flip kick knockout, one of the best, and then it's like, oh, what a great knockout, why are you flipping him off? Like, you go from being happy for the knockout to being like, why did you have to do that,
Well, yeah, he's an emotional guy, though, and he fights very well in Japan. He seems to have a good track record there, so I guess, like you said, he just let the adrenaline get the better of him in the moment.
Now, we did see some other news here. Moving on to UFC, Dana White's Contender Series is coming back on June 12th for 8 episodes, and we'll talk more about the future destination of the Contender Series in a couple of minutes here.
Oh, why don't you just go ahead and talk about ESPN Plus right now? Why cock tease it? Just get to it.
So ESPN and UFC have signed a deal starting in January 2019. They're going to bring 15 UFC fight nights on ESPN Plus. The 5-year deal is worth $150 million, and for those in the States, it's $4.99 a month or $49.99 for a yearly subscription. And as of press time, I don't believe you can get this channel in Canada.
No, I did not see that on the available list.
So either TSN is going to have to step up or the Fight Network, but one of the weird things is that ESPN Plus, they're going to, as part of the deal, they're going to start
offering UFC Fight Pass.
Yeah, you could buy Fight Pass off ESPN Plus and bring some of the content. It's interesting. Did
you see what our friend Todd Martin had to say about this?
No, I did not. What did he say?
He had an excellent tweet. I'm looking it up, but I'm going to paraphrase it. He said it would possibly be the most convoluted way. Oh, here it is. 13 hours ago. We'll see how it all shakes out, but if the final arrangement for the UFC rights is you have to pay for Fight Pass plus ESPN plus 12 or so pay-per-views to watch all the fights, it's literally the least consumer-friendly and customer-inaccessible sport in the world.
Well, it's sort of like Yeah. Yeah, no, I was trying to think of a funny comparison to All Japan having their on-demand but not having the library.
I can think of a comparison. It would be like if WWE Network didn't air the pay-per-views and made one of their shows exclusive to YouTube Red. So you had to subscribe to YouTube Red, buy the pay-per-views, and get the WWE Network just to watch all of WWE.
Yeah, and we'll have more details because we know this is only the first volley, so to speak, because you know the second half of the equation is going to drop in more money, right? There's talk of an ESPN Fox like combo deal in the works, so.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Cyborg Santos has announced that after MMA she might consider going into boxing.
I don't believe it was might consider. I think she said, it's what I want to do when my UFC contract expires.
No. I don't know. I think she should focus on MMA. I know she's pretty much dominated, except for here and there, but I don't know. Her and Holly Holm in a boxing ring? That'd be interesting, but Chad Mendes is back from suspension.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be fighting at UFC Fight Night 133 against Miles Jury.
Best of luck to him.
Yeah, well, that main event is still JDS and Ivanov in Boise, Idaho.
That's still weird to me.
Why is it weird?
Because I feel like JDS, with no offense to the former World Series fighting heavyweight champion, is way above Blagoy Ivanov. But I realize all the rest of the heavyweights are otherwise occupied, so it is what it is.
And if he shocks the world?
Well, good for him.
Let's see. Oh, I'm sure you have a take on this. The 4 horsewomen of MMA are now in the WWE.
Yep, Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke reported to the Performance Center on Monday.
So we might see, perhaps, I might be forecasting here, but Survivor Series or next year's WrestleMania?
I think 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen could be in the agenda.
And that would be something probably a lot better than the Backlash pay-per-view we had to suffer through on Sunday.
Oh, no. Save that for Thursday night.
I'm not on Thursday nights anymore, boss.
Well, then come on and talk about it, because I don't want to waste our time here. The whole show would sound like Brian Alvarez yelling at people.
Yeah, pretty much. UFC 3, I do want to mention this. Now, if you have Xbox One, for example, I get the weekly email saying deals for gold and they have spotlight sales. Well, UFC 3 is 40% off this week on Xbox. And one of the things that was just announced this week for the game is that Bruce Buffer is a playable character.
Weird.
Now, here's the kicker. You have to unlock him before you can play as Bruce Buffer, and he's in the middleweight division.
Okay. That whole concept is just like, whatever.
Yeah, I find it funny, but Bruce Buffer, they actually have a screen cap if you go to EA's website, and it's quite humorous.
What does it have? His statistics as a fighter and all that stuff?
I didn't take a look. I don't think the picture that I saw had the stats on it, but it's something to look out if you have the game.
Okay, fair enough.
I think that's pretty much it. Oh, right, I did save this for last. There is talk that Georges St. Pierre will fight Nate Diaz at UFC 227 in August.
But not at 170 pounds.
Nope, it'll be at 155.
Stupid.
Which is...
That's a stupid idea.
Apparently, he obviously had the health issues when he went up to 185, so he lost some weight to get rid of the colitis.
He had weight issues with adding weight, so now he's going to have weight issues with cutting weight. This is dumb.
But at least he's a fighter that knows how to make weight.
I'm not doubting him making weight now or ever. I'm just saying, if it was unwise for him to go up above his natural fighting weight, it is equally unwise for him to go down. He is the most natural 170 I've ever seen. and his record and his accomplishments back that up. There's no need for him to fight at 185 or 155. It's fucking dumb.
Do you know what the main event of UFC 227 is?
You're going to tell me, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it should be George St. Pierre.
Cody Garbrandt and TJ Dillashaw.
Oh, all right.
It's a grudge match. That's one you want to see.
I think
I'm tired of it already.
I'm sort of over the whole Team Alpha Male versus the Traders thing. I think that storyline has been there and done that and gone.
You don't think this is like the final chapter after this? No more?
Maybe it could be the final chapter, but I feel like that chapter has already been written anyway. The book was closed as far as I was concerned.
Okay. Well, let's move on to this weekend's shows. Which one do you want to talk about first? UFC or Bellator?
Let's go ahead and talk about Bader versus King Mo.
All right, so that's in San Jose, California.
At the Shark Tank. Which should tell
home
you
of the
that
Sharks.
the Sharks are not doing anything of note in the playoffs this year.
No, they've been eliminated from this year's contention, the Western Final for the NHL. I can't believe I'm about to say this. The Vegas Golden Knights are one series away from the Stanley Cup Finals, and they're going to play the winner of Nashville-Winnipeg Game 7 on Thursday night. So,
Jets, Jets.
We know who's a big Jets fan in our MMA pool, that's for sure.
Yes,
MMAdraws.com.
Paul Ace Fontaine. We were hoping they go all the way.
That would be something, but they've got a tough test at Game 7. Game 7 is so hard to predict. It's like a round 5 when both fighters have won 2 rounds each. It's unpredictable. Anything can happen.
That's true. But anyway, back to the Shark Tank.
Now it's Bader and King Mo in the Grand Prix, and I mean the smart money has to be Bader. I mean Bader, he's the current 205 champ, fighting as a heavyweight, so he's going to be more natural. He's not going to have to cut any weight, really. Mm-hmm. And King Mo is, well, King Mo.
Okay. I'm not sure what you mean by King Mo is King Mo. Can you elaborate on that?
There's a height difference. There's a size difference.
All right,
it's a mismatch.
But that's never bothered King Mo before. Look what he did to Czech Congo. Look what he did in the Ryzen Heavyweight Grand Prix. King Mo does not have a problem taking out bigger men.
No, but I think it's going to be a wrestle fest, and Bader's going to out-wrestle King Mo to the ground. It's going to be either a boring fight or hopefully, Bader makes it exciting. But I think it's the wrestling of Bader is going to dominate this fight.
Well, you said odds-on favorite, and you weren't kidding about that because Bader has been the favorite since the brackets were announced. And if you're asking me to put money on it, which I'm not, but if I was, I would put it on Bader to win this fight and maybe even the tournament. However, like you always say, Peter, that's why they fight the fights. And if you're just going to assume that King Mo has no chance, then you're wrong. Because, as you said, it's probably going to come down to wrestling. And when you look on paper at these two wrestlers, you've got not only two of the best in the light heavyweight division of Bellator MMA, you've got two of the best in the sport of mixed martial arts, period. I mean, Ryan Bader, 2-time All-American at Arizona State, Olympic-level wrestler for sure, no question about it. King Mo, Muhammad Lawal, is a multiple-time Division I All-American for Oklahoma State, also Olympic-level wrestler, and was even in the Real Pro Wrestling League for a while and became the champion of their 184-pound class before he went on to win MMA world titles and multiple ones. So it's not like Ryan Bader is the only decorated fighter in this fight, because if you look at his record, you see that King Mo was the Strikeforce light heavyweight champion and actually beat a MMA legend in the process in Gegard Mousasi to take that title.
I mean, I also always say that once the door closes, everyone has a fighter's chance.
And Mo has a better chance than most. He's got good to awesome wrestling. You cannot call it average in any way. And he does have some seriously heavy hands. You say he's a little short at 5'11". I say that just means he packs more muscle onto his frame.
Well, I mean, if he knocks out Vader, if that's the result of this fight, I mean, it'll be very shocking, and if people bet on King Mo to win and he wins by knockout, they'll probably make a pretty penny. Mm-hmm. But I think
if you're
Vader,
really looking for a knockout, it's the next fight, Paul Daly.
Yeah, Paul Daly and John Fitch. That is the co-main event here in the welterweight division, and Simtex. I mean, John Fitch, he's one of those fighters, Stevie, you like to say that you hate betting against, because when you bet against him, he'll beat you. Mm-hmm. Like, he will prove you wrong, so to speak.
Well, and John Fitch is the guy who became a verb in mixed martial arts. When you fitch somebody, you wrestle them to the ground and make them look bad. And he has done that to so many people.
Can you do it to Ben Askren? Because that'd be something to see.
I don't think you want that fight. I don't think you seriously... No. Even Dylan Dennis doesn't want
that. No. Another fight here, Chick Congo and Jevi Alea.
Oh, wait, before you move on, what was your prediction for Fitch versus Daly?
Ooh. I got Daly.
That would be more fun, especially since Daly's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder right now. I don't see it with Fitch. I feel like Fitch is going to do what Fitch does. He's going to drop levels, put him on his ass, and take him to the deep waters and gas him out.
But Daly's gas tank hasn't been... Like, he's not known to gas out, though.
Yeah, sometimes he is, because he's at his most prodigious punching power in the first and second round, and if you can get him past that 5-minute mark of round 2, he starts to get into trouble.
But we're not talking heavyweight in Colorado trouble.
I don't know if I would say Ben Rothwell at 5,000 feet, but I would say Mexico City for, I don't know, Fabricio Verdum?
Yeah. Okay. Good comparison there. Tell me about Piccolotti and Banks.
Oh, well, I thought you wanted to know about Congo and Ayala.
Oh, sorry. I apologize. Yes, Congo and Alea. Sorry.
Yeah, Javi Eye Candy Ayala, the man who knocked out Sergei Karatanov. I hear you scoffing over there, but hey, if the guy wants to be big and call himself Eye Candy, I say more power to him. That's body positivity right there. And he knocked out a Pride legend. How many people can say that? You can't say that. I can't say that.
No.
So, I like his chances as just a one-shot punch knockout because we've seen he can do that. But that isn't something I would lay a bet on going against Czech Congo. Because Czech Congo, John Fitch's people about as well as John Fitch. Congo will smother people on the ground. It's his bread and butter. It's the reason he wasn't in the heavyweight tournament, to be perfectly honest about it, because he wins, and he wins some more, and he wins again, but it's not very exciting to watch.
Well, I mean, as long as he doesn't hold on to the shorts, I think Congo should win. He's been known to do that before. But what do you do with Congo if he dominates and has a great performance here? Like, who do you put in front of him next in Bellator?
Maybe you give him the winner of the heavyweight Grand Prix.
Depends on how spectacular the knockout is, I guess.
No, I'm saying whether he gets a knockout or not, if he's got like 5 or 6 wins in a row, which I think it would be with another win here, then let the tournament play out. Let the winner of the tournament face Congo, and then see if Congo can do to him what he's done to everybody else. Maybe, maybe not.
Okay, I can see that. All right, now let's go to Piccolotti and Banks. Who you got in that one?
Well, it's hard to bet against the jet setter because Speaking of your great wrestlers, he's right up there on the list. He's undefeated at 7-0. He's got natural star quality, which really doesn't have anything to do with whether he can win the fight or not, but his personality shines through. And he's going against a guy who has suffered back-to-back losses to Goichi Yamauchi and David Rickles. So, is Adam Piccolotti ripe for the picking? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say the Jet Setter takes it.
All right. And rounding up the main card, Aaron Pico and Lee Morrison.
No question here. Pico wins by knockout.
Yeah, it's a tomato, not a tomato can fight, but it's a fight Pico should win easily.
Yes.
Now, is there anything on the prelims that catches your eye? Because I do see one name on here that I recognize.
I figure you're probably going to talk about James Terry.
Yep, against Danasabe Muhammad.
That's right. Terry has been around for seemingly forever. I think he goes all the way back to the early to mid-2000s. I remember him in Strikeforce back in the day, so this guy has been around the block for quite a while.
And, I mean, if he has a decent performance here, you might see him on a main card afterwards.
It's possible. I wouldn't rule anything out. He's been fighting pretty consistently for Bellator. He's got wins in 3 of his last 4 Bellator performances, so a really good win here could put him on a main card.
Now, for those who are wondering, he's been fighting since 2006, and this is his 29th MMA fight. He's 19-9.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, he's been around a while.
Yeah, I mean, winner of his last 2 were in Bellator. Both, unfortunately, went to a decision. One was unanimous, and one was a technical win there. But, there's some decent names on his record. He lost to Mike Delatorre and Bobby Green.
Beat Zach Busia.
Yep, absolutely. But, yeah, I mean, I see Strikeforce, you see Bellator, and that's pretty much it. No UFC, but, I mean, of his 9 losses, 6 were by decision, and 3 have been by submission. He's never been knocked out.
Yeah, he's a super tough guy.
Yeah, someone who has 29 fights and has never been knocked out, that tells you he's either got one of the strongest chins in MMA, or he's a tough mofo, or whatever you want, however you want to call it.
Right. Well, speaking of tough mofos, why don't we move on to UFC 224?
Yeah, Raquel Pennington is fighting Amanda Nunes for the women's bantamweight title in the main event in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
That is correct, sir.
And you have to think Nunes is the heavy favorite for this fight.
I don't have those odds in front of me, but I will certainly take a look.
Well, as you're looking, Amanda Nunes, it's a very intriguing fight, the styles against Pennington. How am I going to say this? I think Pennington will bring the fight to Nunes, but Nunes will win this fight in I'm going to say 3rd round. The 2nd round, maybe, but I'm thinking more 3rd round stoppage.
I'm going to say faster than that, considering she's the minus 1,000 favorite.
Oh, for crying out loud. Not that much of a favorite.
I hate to tell you this, but yes.
Do you agree with that?
Let me think about this for a second. Raquel Pennington. What's her best win? Is it Miesha Tate? Is it Bethe Correia? Is it Roxanne Modafferi? She's had
decent names.
Yeah, she's beaten some decent names, but then look at the people that Amanda Nunes has beaten in her last 6 fights. Valentina Shevchenko, twice. Shayna Baszler, the Queen of Spades. Ronda freaking Rousey by TKO. And also Miesha Tate. I like Nunes. I like Nunes in this fight. I like her a hell of a lot in this fight.
We've talked about Rousey's fight strategy. Walk through the punches and then throw her to the ground.
Okay, but if you want to go back further than that, you've also got her beating Germaine Durandamy, Sheila Gaff, Julia Budd, the Jewel, the current Strikeforce champion. I mean, Bellator champion.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah. Thinking of Scott Coker there because you got me talking about James Terry, so. Yeah, she has beaten a who's who in her career, so. No way I'm picking against Nunez here.
There you go. Ronaldo Souza against Kelvin Gastelum. This is a very intriguing fight. Souza's another one of those fighters where you hate to pick against him, and Kelvin, he just seems to get better with each fight, and that's scary because he's climbing those ranks so quickly and adapting his style. It's gonna be a tough, I don't know who you put in front of him if he wins here to stop him.
Well, this is his breakout fight right now because this line is not a coin flip, but awfully close to it. Jacare is minus 145, Gastelum is plus 125, so if you're going to bet a dog or do a parlay, he's probably your play. Go with Gastelum for that.
You gotta think Souza's the favorite just because of where the fight is.
Well, yeah, it's going to definitely benefit him to be in Brazil emotionally, but some fighters, that can actually backfire. They can get too hyped up.
Next fight in the strawweight division is Mackenzie Dern and Amanda Cooper.
Yep, and Dern is minus 280, Cooper plus 240. I think that says it all. Mackenzie Dern wins via submission.
Then, you know what? I think Cooper's a little bit tougher than that. I'm still going to pick Dern, but I think it goes to a decision.
Nope, I disagree. I strongly disagree. Mackenzie Dern, if you've looked at her record lately, looked at how many gold medals she has in World Jiu-Jitsu Championships, no. Especially after that Ashley Yoder fight was less impressive than she was hoping for, she's going to make a statement in this fight.
Okay. What about Lineker and Keller?
No question, hands of stone by knockout.
First round?
Kelleher's tough. Let's say second round. But Lineker's going to catch him. He's minus 250. I like that line.
Now, Stevie, I have to ask you a question. What year are we in right now?
I know why you're asking. You're trying to figure out why we're seeing Vitor Belfort and Lyoto Machida. It is 2018. It's not 2008.
You know me, I watched the old UFC shows on Fight Pass, and 98, Belfort started climbing the ranks, 97, 98, as a teenager. 20 years later, he's still in UFC.
And 20 years later, he's the plus 235 dog to Lyoto Machida at minus 275, who, and I hate saying this because I was at the fight where Lyoto Machida won the UFC light heavyweight title, but that was almost a decade ago now, and times have changed. I don't think either of these fighters is anywhere near their prime, and the fact that Machida is a heavy favorite just shows you how past his prime Belfort is.
The only thing I want to say about this fight is I hope it does not go to the judges.
No, please. Machida, make it merciful. Finish him quick. You won't be
Or
booed.
Belfort
You're in Brazil.
I mean, Belfort could do the same to Machida. You don't know.
Yeah.
Now, on the prelims on FX,
Cesar Mutash and Carl Robinson. Cesar Mutash is a plus 1 dog. I'd put money on that. He's going to beat Roberson.
Olenek and Albini, that could be good.
Olenek is plus 130. Albini minus 150. Olenek would be a good parlay.
Yeah. Hine and Ramos?
I can't say I care much. Plus 120 Hine, minus 140 Ramos. I'd probably just go with the favorite there.
Okay. And Dos Santos and Strickland in welterweight division wrap up the FX prelims?
Mm-hmm. I don't even see odds on that, so apparently nobody cares.
On Fight Pass, if you have Fight Pass, Warley Alves and
Sultan
Helen
Aliyev.
Ladies are on here.
Yeah. Well, Alves is minus 245. Aliyev is plus 205.
And today's Ladies on Fight Pass against Jack Hermanson. This fight seems misplaced to me.
Well, Palace Ladies used to be a bigger deal than he is right now, so.
That's a shame. I liked his fights.
Yeah. but he's the plus 135 dog here. Hermanson is the man on the rise.
Do you think if he loses, he gets cut?
I think they might be careful about that strategy because if he gets cut, Bellator would take him.
Oh, in a heartbeat.
Yes.
Oh, God. Yeah. That's a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
Bellator would, here's the Brinks truck, just come on over.
Right.
Do you want to talk about the other prelims?
Nope.
Here, Mina and Emmett? No?
No. No.
One thing I do want to ask you about, I heard this quote the other day about Paul Daly, and I'm not sure if I quite get the why he said it, but he says Bellator is playing me for an idiot. I'm not an idiot. You talked about this chip on his shoulder. Is that something he needs to have to win against John Fitch?
No. The reason he's saying that, I don't want to go too in-depth here because I want to direct you to MMAmania.com, read my interview with him, listen to the audio, see what he had to say, but I'll give you a little bit of a teaser. He is dissatisfied with the fact that they wanted him to fight Michael Venom Page, who he believes is beneath his level, and he feels disrespected because he had to ask them for the John Fitch fight, a fighter worthy of his time.
Damn. Okay.
That's a teaser. You're going to have to go read listen to the interview, read the copy that I wrote. You'll get the whole story.
Wow. Okay. Definitely go check out that piece. Stevie, what's on tap for Thursday night AMP?
You said it earlier, my friend. Backlash sucked the big one.
Yeah, this is probably going to go down as the worst pay-per-view of 2018, and we're only in May.
That was a night I sorely regretted my decision to not have any beer.
Well, I was watching split screen. I had I had the wrestling on half the screen and the hockey game on the other, with the Vegas Knights advancing to the Western Finals. So
I should have watched something else. Do you know how bad that show was? I put it on mute and started playing Metallica songs.
And I'll do one last line here, then we'll wrap up. At the end of the main event, when they tried to pan to the crowd for the crowd reaction,
people were turning and walking out. Yeah, I saw that too.
You don't have that in UFC. They stay, they cheer, they're loud, and this crowd was like, nope, done, next. Out.
Yeah, that was terrible. -5 stars. Maybe 10.
Alright, well, for Stevie J, I'm Peter H., the Hardcore Canadian. Thanks for listening, and as I always say, never leave it to the judges. Good night, everybody.
-10.